Hey, we're
Oh,
back.
yay! It's us.
Chapter 12. I feel like this book, does it feel like we've been making this podcast for a long time for this book, Brett?
Yeah, like a year and a
Yeah.
half, it feels like.
Yeah. And there's only like 13 chapters, but I don't know. Like, do there other podcast seasons have this many chapters, or is it just like, I don't know. Are we just tired? I'm tired. I was telling Brett I didn't sleep between the hours of 12:30 and 5 last night. So
Yeah.
that's probably
That
for
young parenthood right there.
Oh, the little baby. He's so cute, but oh my gosh, we don't sleep. He wants to party.
Party all the time.
Yeah. He'll just like yell and go like, ah, ah, ah. And I'm like, buddy, it's 2:30. Now's not the time for
Go
this.
to sleep.
But anyways, chapter 12, being autonomous amidst the controls. I like this chapter. I feel like it's a good one because society is very controlling. So it's good to have this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Like to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm. And I have the first summary this week, I believe.
Yep.
You're to time me.
Yeah.
There were a few headings here, so that's good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Aha. Yeah, he does start using headings.
Took a
in like the last
chapters, but
yeah.
We got there.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. In chapter 12, being autonomous amidst the controls, Edward talked about how we can live as autonomous people and also encourage autonomy, even though society does not do that. And we also looked at how do some people make it out of these hard conditions, still being autonomous and being authentic. So one of the reasons that they gave was finding someone who could be of special support to you. So like a grandmother, a coach, just like somebody else who's in your corner that's an adult that you can trust and rely on. So I think that's important because as teachers, like we get to be that adult for a lot of kids. Also, how people have the ability to influence their world as well as be influenced by it. So even kids, he was saying, have the ability to be personable, vital, and proactive, and can draw out the best in people around them. I kind of think it's a big ask also for kids, but it was mentioned in the book, so that's a summary. And then I looked at how if you are treating kids differently because you see like one kid seems to be more personable and more willing to, I guess not willing, but like more able to be trusted, then by the end of the year, you actually further separate the kinds of personalities that you have in kids. Like one kid is like, oh, this kid's trusted, it could be autonomous, and this kid needs to be controlled. You further exacerbate that dichotomy based on how you treat them. And then it also looked at how, people who come from challenging backgrounds, like a low socioeconomic status, they said that these people can still be like exemplary people because if they might be among the small percentage of kids who are far above the mean on the psychological level, they may have someone special who gives them interpersonal attention. And then they may have developed expectancies that led them to interpret various situations as more autonomy supportive than they actually were. So kind of like looking at life through rose-colored glasses. So all that to say, it looked at how, ultimately we should be the ones encouraging autonomy in our students. And I think I went over time, didn't I? Because the timer I no longer see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for my summary, I'm gonna kind of go off of that.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. Time me up.
Okay. Timer. I updated my phone and I don't know if you know this, Britt, but I group my apps by color, like I color code them. Mm-hmm. And now clock has changed from black to white and it's messing up where I look for it.
Ha ha ha.
Okay. Here it is. Are you ready?
Kind of, yeah. All
On
right.
your mark, get set, summarize.
So for chapter 12, being autonomous amidst the controls, he really talks about people's motivation and how autonomy influences it, and how controlling our society is, our culture is, how controlling jobs, schools, even our communities. And because we have such controlling systems in place, it's creating a large, widespread need for autonomy, and how you can find autonomy support within your different environments. When we talk about the context of our students or children, really touched on an individual or a kid needing someone to be that autonomy support. And if they have somebody that influences, that really stands in their corner and influences their feelings of being autonomous and competent, then they can rise above, or they're more likely to rise above, the situational systemic oppressors. And how autonomy is absolutely so important for psychological and emotional development. And that's why, autonomy is at the center of a lot of what we do.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at this chapter, what's a quote that stood out to you?
There is a lot. I have a lot of different quotes written down. So, I'm going to say the one on page 182. Let me see where I want to start with this. Yeah, I think I'm going to, okay. So I'm going to start at recognizing, and this is page 182, recognizing that our children, students, employees, and patients can affect how we treat them, highlights a very important challenge for us as parents, teachers, managers, and healthcare providers. The challenge is to be autonomy supportive, even with individuals who pull on us to control them. It is the more passive, compliant, and defiant individuals who are most in need of an optimal interpersonal context of involvement, autonomy support, and sensitive limit setting. But it is these individuals whom we have the hardest time giving it to. And that is like summarizes what I'm hearing from teachers when we talk about being autonomy supportive in our classrooms.
Yeah.
We either hear like they can't handle it, or they don't want it.
Yes. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
So then what do you say to those teachers? Because, I mean, this is not just them. This is how people act when you see different behaviors, right? You're like, okay, like they need more control. So what advice do you give those teachers?
So I actually started a new it's not a new technique. I've been doing it for years. I think when I started coaching, I was very much on the look at all this data, look at what the research says. And now I do Socratic questioning, where I'm like, well, let's think about you and your experiences. and how autonomy influences you and your motivation. And then let's think about the people that you love, like your partner, somebody really, really close to you. And what is it like when they're like micro or micromanaged? How does taking away autonomy affect them?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's once those connections are made, really understanding how autonomy influences negative behavior, maladaptive behavior, how people are going to, or the brain is going to fight for autonomy no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
The more controlling you get, the more it's going to fight for it, or the more it's going to check out. And I would say that compliance is a checkout method.
Yeah.
Fawning, right? It's just like, yeah, sure, okay. And then they either don't have their heart in the work, they don't do the work because they just shut down.
And this is what you see. Like you see so much this in classrooms.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. And it really comes down to putting autonomy up there on a pedestal in the same way we would put reading. Like if a kid can't read, you're not going to be like, oh, well, he just doesn't want to. He can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
exactly.
No, how we teach students to read is how we can model and manage and facilitate autonomy in the classroom. But
I love that example.
It can't just be like, oh, let's do whatever you want. That's not autonomy, right? Like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's so true.
That's what
I love that example that you gave too about reading. I feel like that makes it clearer for our listeners, hopefully.
Yeah.
There was something else I wanted to pull from. So number one, that quote is literally the one I bookmarked here in my book as well.
Oh, is it?
It is. You know, you and I, we're so synced with picking these things.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's another part I wanted to pull on where it talked about the caregivers and about the teachers. I'll probably be able to find it in live time. But anyways, it talked about how, it's on us to just really create that space and to bring the autonomy support. The quote I'll pull instead is going to be from page 196. And it says, meaningful change comes out of an organismic readiness. It comes when people feel that now is the time to change, when they are ready to enact a commitment to each moment. Pressuring does not help. Indeed, it is likely to hurt, just as blaming oneself is likely to hurt. When people feel pressured, compliance or defiance results. Compliance produces change that is not likely to be maintained, and defiance blocks change in the first place. Meaningful change occurs when people accept themselves, take interest in why they do what they do, and then decide that they are ready to do differently. And I like that one. Yeah, and I think it's good to keep that in mind because we have, whenever we write copy or anything like that, right, for people to read on social media, I try to write from the perspective of like, okay, what are they actually saying their problems are? Because people aren't probably going to come to you saying, I need to work on being more autonomy supportive. But they will say the symptoms, so what it looks like when you're not autonomy supportive. So, like, my kids act like they just need to be controlled. They act like they have to be micromanaged. Or they won't do anything. But I think it's important for us to remember that when you're in that situation, all of the pressuring, all the stuff that we get done to us and that we've seen done for years and years is not actually effective. Like playing blame games, like none of this helps. We have to do this create a situation where people are going to want.
Yeah.
And that's actually that's one of the things that led me to this journey being in this realm in the first place years ago. Like how do I get my students to want to do this? It was that question.
That's a good question. So I want to touch on what's called misplaced aggression.
Mm.
And misplaced aggression is when you have an aggravated individual who is aggressive and they are angry, angry or escalated about something that they can't control. And the misplaced aggression theory is the person that is angry or aggressive will not take their aggression, their anger out on individuals that are above them in the power hierarchy in the environment. Instead, they will act out their aggression on people who are 1 to 2 levels below them on the hierarchy totem pole.
Yep.
And there's a lot of research around misplaced aggression. Notably, when there is a big game that is highly competitive, NFL, domestic violence abuse rates bump up right after the game, where the partners are aggravated at the game of losing and they take out their misplaced aggression on their families. Another one is, these are bamboos, where a group of baboons. Bamboo's a plant. Baboons.
I was like, okay, I'm trying to picture this.
A group of baboons were studied, and baboons are a hierarchical mammalian species, primate species. Okay, similar to us, we're hierarchical, and when an alpha baboon is challenged and is beaten, they will attack not the lowest member in the totem pole, but they will attack the baboons that are 1 to 2 steps lower than them. And it happened over and over and over and over again that it became a center of study in behavior and moved from primate species to human observation. And they found it in humans too. But that misplaced aggression, it is so tantamount to understanding how to alleviate teacher stress, struggles in the classroom for both admin and for the teachers themselves, because teachers will have misplaced aggression and they'll be taking it out on their students without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And admin needs to understand that they're not going to come at you. They're going to come because it is human nature. Well, you know what? I can't say that. It is, whether it's human nature or learned social behavior, whatever the explanation is, it's happening and it's going to happen. They're not going to come at you, the admin. They're going to come at the staff members that are lower than them on the totem pole or their students. So we need, as admin and as leaders, we need to be making sure that teachers' psychological needs like autonomy are met in the classroom, so they're not taking it out on the people lower than them on the totem pole. Or, oh my gosh, mind-blowing concept, we could get rid of the hierarchy altogether.
Take the lid off the pressure cooker.
But I'm just here.
No, you're so on it. And this stuff too, let me show you this. This is the book I've been making some minis for the village about lately.
Oh.
Have you read this one yet, Britt? Crucial Conversations?
I've read part of it.
Yeah, it's funny because this chapter that
Oh.
I was just talking about, or not just talking about, the chapter I was just reading and like making notes about was that concept, the misplaced aggression. But they're talking about it more in terms of like trying to have conversations and like problem solve, but same concepts. No, this is also true. Like, and this, what blows my mind too, is how, like, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're probably like, oh yeah, I see this all the time. All aspects of it, like the pressure cooker, the misplaced aggression, the compliance, defiance, the fawning. Like, you see all of it, but no one knows what this is. Like, if you say, let's be autonomy supportive, people be like, what? Right? If you're a listener right now, like, have you heard of autonomy supportive teaching before you found us? Tell us, actually, if you're watching the live right now, like, comment. Have you heard about autonomy supportive teaching? Yes or no? Like, I didn't. Did you?
I have ODD, so I'm always, or PDA, whatever you want to call it. So giving my students autonomy in the classroom was always like on my radar. I didn't know that it was called autonomy.
Yeah.
But I know what it feels like to not have control of your area and how unsafe that feels. So I always give it to my kids.
See, I love that. And I did not start there. Yeah. I started being the one who was controlling everything. So that was how I was supposed to do it. But it's true. Like, I don't know if it was this chapter. It may have been another chapter. But you can feel a difference in the space when it's autonomy supportive or not. And that's what you'll start to hear when people come into your classroom. Like, that was always the message I got. Like, oh, it feels so warm and welcoming in here. Like, thank you. That is so intentional. I've been working so hard at that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the autonomy support.
Yeah.
That's coming through.
Right. Well, if you provide an autonomy supportive environment, you're pretty much telling the brain that it is safe.
Yeah.
If you provide a high controlling environment, you are subliminally priming. You are priming the brain to be like, ooh, there is a reason why she needs or they need so much control in this classroom. What is it? There's something that's not safe. There's something that's not safe. That's what you're doing when you feel like you have to have a lot of control or things are just going to go crazy. You are setting the brains that come into your space, you're setting them up subliminally, unconsciously, to have a higher threat response or higher fear response when they get to you.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be a reason. Why do you need?
Also, you'll probably see too, if you are like the one teacher on your team who is autonomy supportive in a school that is not.
Oh, I love you. I'm so sorry.
We're so sorry. But you're going to also feel the brunt of that when the kids come into your space and they finally get to be safe.
Yes. Yep. And then you're going to have everybody in the world telling you that, oh my gosh, well, you need to have more control.
They don't do that for me.
Oh, no. They stopped doing it for me. I just started barking at them. Just kidding.
I would picture that, though. It's a great strategy.
Come into my classroom, I'm like,
woof, woof. Honestly, no, just growl like that instead. Hey, that's a strategy. Action step.
Yeah. That's what I should have started doing. I should have started going like she did. She's a notorious hisser. She just goes.
I love that. Just hiss.
Amazing. Hiss. I thought it was hilarious.
Growl. So then what would you say to teachers who are in a controlling school?
Well, honestly, okay.
Is it gonna be
Right
quit?
now.
You're gonna
Right
say
now.
quit, Brittany.
I'm not going to say quit. I say look for a different district. Look for a different school. I'm not messing around with these schools anymore or these districts. There is a point where we have to acknowledge that our martyrism enables a system that is harming children at a mass rate. There's a point where that needs to be talked about.
And that's a t-shirt right there. That's a slogan right there.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's not okay because there are districts that are trying so hard. There are schools that are trying so hard.
Yeah. Like we partner with them. Like we see these schools. Like there are incredible school leaders out there who are doing this work every single day. They're trying to think of how they can be autonomy supportive with their staff. Like they're intentionally planning these things. They're investing in like us doing PD to come to their schools and teach their teachers about regulation. They're paying for coaching for their teachers. They're paying for courses for their teachers. Like these schools exist.
That prioritize psychological and neurological needs, that are prioritizing using universal supports in their classroom, that are prioritizing relationship building and taking and stepping away from the methods that are notorious for not working, like scripted curriculum. Right? There are schools out there that are doing that every day. You are not stuck. Find the school where you can flourish. And when you say, well, what about my students? I know. And that sucks. That sucks. But that doesn't make the system better. And that's what we need to make this. We need to change the system. We need to work on changing the system. And using our students as an excuse to not hold the district accountable, that's not fair for them either.
It sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, like at least we're having these conversations, which 10 years ago we weren't.
Yeah.
10 years ago it was like, oh, well, where can I get a Pinterest bulletin board? Like where, how can I make my room look cute? Like now we're talking about, okay, what the processes that are occurring, the systems that are occurring are harmful and nobody is succeeding. So how do we change them? And if the school system doesn't want to have that conversation, don't stay with the school system, because that school system needs to go through a district level change.
Yeah. They got to go through their own change journey. Is that your action step for teachers?
To quit your district? No. You know what? Honestly, my action step, in order to have an autonomy supportive environment where it isn't chaos, kids have to feel safe. They have to trust the environment. They have to trust that you're going to take care of what needs to be taken care of. You're going to nip any bullying in the bud. You are going to uphold their voice, all of their voice, collective voice. And that takes a lot of relationship building, which now and I can't stand, the one thing I can't stand about education is that it turns like phrases and really meaningful words into like rhetoric, like relationship building. Like it's now like a catchphrase. Like, no, it's build trust with your students. And one way to do that is to include them in meaningful, contributive ways in your classroom. And TTR has a blog post all about that, because when I wrote the blog post, it's a series. It's like 4 blog posts on how you can create valuable, individualized opportunities for contribution for your students, going above just like jobs. Like, how can you include your students so that they can feel like they're making a meaningful contribution? And when I was making, or right before I made that blog, I was working on autonomy supportive. Like, what do teachers need to have an autonomy supportive classroom?
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to the students have to feel safe in the environment, so they have to trust the environment. They have to trust each other, and they have to trust their teachers. So one way to build that trust, check out the blog. It's, if you go to TTR's website, you can find, just search contributions or meaningful contributions, and you'll find all the blog posts.
We can link it to the episode too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm writing it down so we don't forget. And I think that my action step would be that, like, yes, your students need to feel safe, but you also have to feel safe. And if you are in that pressure cooker environment, like, there has to be someone who says, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to keep this cycle going. And if it's a part of the year where you can't just switch districts, then try to be that person where you are and try to create that safety for yourself. Come in and regulate, be intentional. I don't know how many times I talk to teachers and I'm like, oh, did you intentionally breathe during the day? It's like, oh, no, not the entire day. Like, find time to intentionally check back in with your body and remind yourself that you're safe, and regulate yourself to the point where you can feel that and then be that in your space.
Yeah.
And I think that's all she wrote for today.
Yeah.
We got one more episode. Our finale. Woo! Crazy. We're almost done.
No.
That's why we do what we do. And then we have to pick our book for season 4. So if you guys have any suggestions for books or topics that you would like us to cover, let us know. Yeah. Message us on Instagram or comment on this live if you're watching this live, and give us some topics. We will listen to you and take that into consideration for our next season. All right. In the meantime, I'm Ashlyn.
I'm Brittany.
And we hope that you feel remoralized
and re-energized.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.